day that you still have to live life.
That's all for this edition of Dateline. We'll see you again next Friday at 10, 9 Central. I'm Lester Holt. For all of us at NBC News, good night.
You're watching NBC4 News at 11.
Tonight, new images reveal the current conditions inside the Lineage warehouse in Boyle Heights. These photos from the LA County Health Department show the rotting food, sludge, and standing water still inside the massive warehouse. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson. The city said Lineage Logistics needed to get that warehouse cleaned up by today, but the two sides disagree on just when that work was to be finished. The fire started on June 17th. It was fully extinguished by the 24th. On June 29th, Mayor Bass ordered a 45-day cleanup, but Lineage says they didn't get full control of the warehouse until July 7th and argue that's when the 45-day countdown began. So they claim they have until next Thursday to finish the cleanup. NBC4's Robert Kovacic is here now with what's a disappointing update for people living in Boyle Heights. Robert.
And Carolyn, Mayor Bass is making it clear, quote, the date is August 14th. They can push back all they want, but the families of Boyle Heights are the ones who continue to suffer every day this mess isn't cleaned up. This is about them. Now, tonight we checked in with the families in Boyle Heights, and NBC4 obtained photos from inside of the warehouse, where it appears the cleanup is far from over.
Frustration.
It's been chaos.
Anger.
So we want to get out of here.
Boiling over in Boyle Heights, where those who live near that once massive refrigerated food warehouse were hoping today was the day when the building and its rotting contents were cleared and cleaned for good. This LA County Public Health report obtained by NBC4 confirms unsanitary or nuisance conditions determined by an inspection conducted at the Lineage facility yesterday, concluding previously identified violations remain outstanding. The report from August 13th includes photographic evidence. NBC4 investigates uncovered in the weeks following the blaze that caused all of this an infestation of the green bottlefly, an insect with the ability to lay eggs in open wounds. Without naming the type of fly, the report lists instance after instance of dead flies, live flies, and larvae. And that includes more than 100 living flies observed on the exterior. Tonight, NBC4 reached out to Lineage about the new inspection report and have not yet heard back. Lineage has responded to Mayor Bass, disputing today is the deadline. The 45-day cleanup clock began on July 7th, the day the Los Angeles Fire Department ended its 24-hour fire watch at the site after persistent flare-ups made it unsafe to enter. That date is documented in reports we have submitted to the city and is the start date recognized by the South Coast AQMD. We are at day 37. We have time remaining, and we intend to use every hour of it.
And as we've been reporting, the company said earlier this week it was distributing more than 1,100 fly traps throughout that community. That inspection report we received continues to fine Lineage $2,000 a day for violations. Lineage Logistics has pledged to spend between $80 and $100 million on the cleanup efforts, but the debate continues at this hour as to when exactly that cleanup will be completed. I'm Robert Kovacic. Carolyn?
All right, Robert. And of course, we'll continue to follow the latest on the warehouse cleanup. Right now on the NBC LA app, we have a section dedicated to this story. Just click the link on the trending bar. At least 2 people are dead following a 7.7 earthquake off the coast of Indonesia. That earthquake collapsed buildings. It was followed by 2 major aftershocks. Indonesian authorities initially issued a tsunami warning, telling people to stay away from beaches and to move to higher ground. That warning was later lifted. Deputies in San Bernardino County shot and killed a man after they say he fired a gun at workers from SoCal Edison. It happened this morning around 11 on King Street in Mentone. That's just east of Redlands. The sheriff's department says the gunman barricaded himself inside his home after they arrived and then started firing at deputies. Deputies say that's when they returned fire, killing him. The SoCal Edison workers were not hurt. Let's take you outside right now. This is a live look from our camera in Long Beach as we head into the weekend. Meteorologist Stephanie Olmo is here with a check of the First Alert forecast. Stephanie.
We're all excited for the weekend, of course. Now, temperatures won't be too bad. We'll be at or even below normal. Enjoy it because we are tracking a warm up as we head into next week. Right now, here's a live picture outside downtown Los Angeles where we do have some of the clouds beginning to roll in at this hour. Temperatures currently sitting in the upper 60s. Of course, temperatures continuing to cool here overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. It's going to be a comfortable start to the day and temperatures warming back up by the afternoon. Now, here's the hour-by-hour forecast for Orange County. Tomorrow morning, yet again, starting up with that marine layer, the marine layer clouds rolling in, some areas of patchy fog, temperatures just around 8 in the morning, climbing back into the low 70s, and then we'll continue to warm back into the lower 80s as we head into the afternoon hours. And we're looking at more sunshine, so the clouds will be clearing for some sun. The winds are going to be nice and light across the area, and then once again, tomorrow night, we have the clouds rolling back in. We have the marine layer clouds rolling back in. So if you have any plans this weekend, let's go over the weekend forecast for the coast. Tomorrow, temperatures will be at 75. By Sunday, we'll be at 76. Again, we're starting up with the marine layer clouds, and then eventually that's going to lift for some sun. We're looking great for the basin, for the IE, and for the mountains. The mountains, temperatures will be in the 70s. Enjoy it because back into the 80s as we head into Monday. Carolyn, over to you.
All right, Stephanie, thank you. Also tonight, we're following the story of this LA family taken from their home, now spending months in immigration detention centers in Texas. They're fighting a seemingly never-ending battle against the U.S. government, not for something they did, but because of who they're related to. And tonight, we're hearing from that college professor through a letter she wrote describing her family's suffering and highlighting what her lawyers are calling bloodline punishment. NBC4's Darsha Phillips is in the newsroom now with a story you'll see only on NBC4. Darsha.
Carolyn, the lawyers for the family say they haven't seen a case like this where a couple and their son were detained for something that their relative did before any of them were even born. The husband's mother was a spokesperson for the group that took Americans hostage during the Iran hostage crisis in 1979. The State Department is now using that connection to detain the family for more than 120 days.
We are in tremendous pain and have been trapped in an unendurable, unending nightmare.
Jacob Hart reading a letter published in The Nation, an online magazine. The author, his friend Miriam Tomasebi, begging for help.
Imagine that you are an independent woman wading through the waters of sexism and patriarchy every day, and then you are told that not only do your own ideas and academic achievements not matter, but you are somehow now responsible for decisions you never made and for things that happened before you were even born.
Miriam, a professor at LA Pierce College, her husband Issa Hashemi, who is also an educator, and their 16-year-old son, all permanent residents of the United States, were detained by ICE in April, their green cards revoked. Miriam and her son were taken to the Dilley Detention Center in Texas. Her husband is being held at another nearby facility. Miriam and her son only able to speak to Issa over the phone for 10 minutes every 2 weeks.
What struck me was that this seemed to be the first time that the foreign policy ground was being used to target people based not on any conduct of theirs whatsoever, but based solely on family relationship.
Miriam and Issa's lawyers say the family was detained because Issa is the son of this woman, who at 19 years old was a spokesperson for a group of university students who held U.S. citizens hostage 47 years ago during the Islamic Revolution.
At no point has a State Department or has the government once offered any evidence that this family poses a viable, actual threat to national security. In America, we do not punish people for who they're related to.
But the family's lawyers say this is exactly what is happening, and it appears to have started with an online campaign to get them removed that got the attention of state officials, including Leo Terrell, who tagged Secretary of State Marco Rubio just days before the family was detained.
All this misinformation, disinformation disinformation campaign collectively led to getting the attention of some high-level official at the State Department, who then, flagged it for the likes of Rubio, resulting in this so-called Rubio determination that they pose a threat to our foreign policy.
Loved ones say Issa and Miriam are hardworking and caring people.
She teaches all of our classes. There isn't a single subject she won't teach. So she just shows up. She shows up for the community. She shows up for her colleagues and shows up for her students.
I think everybody probably has in their mind, this is the sweetest human I've ever met. And it's not exaggeration for me when I say it's Issa.
After months in detention, the family did offer to voluntarily depart the country, but they were denied, quote, at this time.
She said, we love this country, but we understand it doesn't love us back. So that's fine. We're not fighters. We'll go. Just let us go. And they're refusing.
The family says they don't know how much longer they can take living separated and in limbo. The conditions at the detention center, they say, are unbearable.
There's black mold everywhere. There's bugs everywhere. The water is not potable. I mean, this is now the story of each and every one of these prisons around the country, right? This is not specific to Dilley, but this is also the story of this young family.
And lawyers say the entire ordeal has been emotionally destabilizing for the couple's teenage son. The detention center is not supposed to house children for this long. Their son writing to his attorneys that he wishes he could have more contact with his friends.
He's now been there, I think, 6 times the length of the allowable length. But this is what happens.
Loved ones and the family's lawyers now trying to bring attention to what they say is a grave injustice.
At some point, it has to stop. At some point, there needs to be a line that says, okay, we're not going to sink to the level of collective punishment or bloodline punishment. This is the kind of stuff that happens in countries like Iran.
Hoping that if enough people care,
Anybody in this country right now